potassium, also known as hyperkalemia, is a condition in which you have too much potassium in your blood. It can lead to serious health issues, including an irregular heartbeat, heart attack, and temporary paralysis. In some cases, even death. Today, we're learning more, both from a doctor and a patient perspective. Take a look.
I'm not a smoker, but I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. You have decisions to make, whether you're going to fight it or you're going to allow it to overcome you. I think I was prepared for the high potassium problems that developed because of what happened earlier, because I've learned to fight. When you have high potassium, you may or may not experience symptoms. For me, because I was having other health issues, I think that masked it in terms of me understanding it. I do remember the fatigue. I had plenty of muscle cramping in retrospect. And, was that a hydration issue? I don't know, but at the time, that's what I thought it was. And who knew? It was the high potassium that was really doing a number on me. Initially, we could not control the potassium, so I was hospitalized and up in the ICU over it. Once we did bring it under control and the blood labs started to return to normal, I believe I actually felt better. And again, looking back at my other treatments, I was blaming a lot of those symptoms on the initial treatments that I was receiving for the cancer. It took a while, but it did indeed return to normal.
His story is quite compelling, and we're going to hear more in just a bit. But now I'd like to turn to Dr. Jessica Coleman, a nephrologist based in Savannah, Georgia. Welcome, doctor. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate your time. Doctor, I just want to make clear, David is not your patient and you're not involved with his care. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but you have treated many with high potassium. Most people think potassium is good for us, but that's not necessarily the case, right?
Well, you're absolutely correct. Oftentimes we think of high potassium food items as very healthy alternatives for our diet. Things like bananas, avocados, tomatoes. These are things that we actually oftentimes encourage patients to incorporate into a normal diet. Unfortunately, folks who have compromised kidney function can really have a hard time or a difficult time managing an appropriate and normal level of potassium in their body. Normal potassium levels are defined as anywhere from 3.5 to 5 milliequivalents per liter, and really anything above 5 milliequivalents per liter really starts to get very dangerous for our body. And folks with compromised kidneys really do have trouble filtering out an appropriate amount of potassium from their system. And so as a result, we can really see very serious consequences potentially occur.
And doctor, are there symptoms that one can look out for?
So that's the really compelling thing about hyperkalemia, which is that oftentimes it's asymptomatic, meaning no symptoms whatsoever. While certainly we tell patients to look for cardiac arrhythmias, in other words, chest pain, palpitations, irregular heartbeats, unfortunately, oftentimes the patients really have no symptoms whatsoever. And so the only way to define high potassium in the blood is to do routine lab work.
So who is at risk, and what are some of the factors at play?
Patients most at risk are, again, patients with compromised kidney function. So either chronic kidney disease or acute kidney damage, meaning something that has happened very abruptly. Patients also with diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, heart failure. These are the patients we think of who are at risk. One of the other things we worry about is that a lot of the medications we use to treat some of these conditions, like chronic kidney disease, heart failure, and diabetes, can cause high potassium.
And doctor, I'd like to go back to David and see how he's managing today. Let's listen.
Once treatment was started and I responded, it was up to me then to look at what can I do to make my life better and not have this high potassium always nagging me. By paying attention, first of all, to what I eat. And so we looked at diet and went to low potassium foods. There was a direct correlation with that. When I was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, I had the decision to make. Was I gonna fold, or was I gonna try hard to fight this? You're not fighting these things alone. there's healthcare professionals, there's family support. When you learn how to eat a little differently, and when you start to begin to embrace life a little bit more. Don't take yourself out of the game. Get back in the game. It'll make a difference.
Doctor, he's got such a great attitude. I love seeing that. Any final thoughts from you?
You know, he does have a great attitude, and that's really what I would say are my final thoughts. Have a positive attitude. This can be managed. Work closely with your healthcare provider. Get routine lab work done. Modify your diet and lifestyle as appropriate. But overall, take charge, because this really is a disease state that can be managed. And to learn more about that, please visit highpotassium.com.
Highpotassium.com. Doctor, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to also thank David for sharing his personal story. We wish him well. And for more information on any of this, you can go to our website, thebalancing act.com. We'll be right back.